Alright, so we're at the end of the season. Talking quietly because there's still some people sleeping. But we're just starting to get our camper ready for winter storage here on the campground. And we're also going to be winterizing. So I already got the little fridge unplugged and wiped out. It's all warmed up. I got the Blackstone griddle stored in here. Any food items are all going home with us. This water bottle got to come out of here. Water jug. Anything that'll freeze got to come out of the camper. Also, any food you want to take home with you, you don't want to leave anything because the mice will smell it and they'll make their way in and try and get to it. And believe me, they want to get in there, they'll get in there. Luckily, we've had no trouble with mice so far on any of our campers.
Oh, speaking of that, where'd my phone go? Is that it? Yeah. Alright, let me know if I need to stop. Alright. Alright. Calm down. And all them little ones too. Right here. See that black spot? Does that come off? Yeah.
Oh, we gotta do sweep. I gotta sweep the top to help me with that. Yeah.
One little spot, and right there, stop, come on the inside here. Oh, that water that was up there. I didn't even see that. You know what? We'll have to switch that to the other side. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was pulled up there. Did you? Oh, Jake.
Whoa.
Stop filming real quick.
Alright, so we're just gaining access for the winterization. I want to be able to see what I have to work with here. This is my first time winterizing this camper, obviously. So we got to kind of figure out where everything is. It doesn't tell you, like there's no schematic telling you where these items are. You got to find them. How you find a water pump is you turn on the pump and you physically listen for it and then you search it out. We happen to find this little access panel. Okay, so it's hard to see, but this is the hot water tank right here. You have a valve right there and a valve right there. These are the bypasses. We're gonna shut those off, and that's gonna eliminate any water coming to the water heater. What's happening right now is the water comes in here from the cold, goes into the hot water tank, rises in the hot water tank, and then comes out to hot water hose here. So by turning these valves, it's going to allow the water to just go in this circular tube here. Okay, so this is going to be a little hard to see, but these are just quarter turn valves. So what I did was I put a black line on it with a Sharpie, and in the summertime when I go to turn it like this, you'll see the lines line up. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. It's a little dark in here. Now, all right, so we just opened the low point drain on the freshwater tank. So here's your freshwater fill right there, and then the water coming out right there. It's just a small valve underneath, right there, coming out of the tank. So we got a kind of a lousy elbow here, but it is lower than the hose, so it's going to work. We're going to go ahead and open our black tank first, which we have 2 grays, 1, 2, and the black tank. first time draining. So not to get gory, but I put a clear piece on here so we could see what's coming out, just to make sure there's no blockages. And in a moment, once this is relatively drained good, we're gonna turn on the black tank flush. So right here, this is the hose. I use the gray hose for the black tank flush, and that just goes to our water source, which is right there. The blue line is our fresh water, which I'm gonna disconnect momentarily, and that goes to the water filter right there. And always flush them water filters before you hook them up. All right, so we're gonna turn on our black tank flush. All right, so right now my son's going inside. He's gonna make sure he could see the black tank flush line, because this is the first time we're using it. We're gonna make sure there's no leaks.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Look okay?
Yep.
All right. So now I'm gonna close the black tank again. That's completely shut off. And we're gonna refill that tank. All right, so now this is our water source, but I'm gonna shut off the fresh water going to the camper. We're done with that while the black tank is still flushing. And we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the blue water hose and drain it. My son is monitoring the black tank to make sure it doesn't fill all the way up. All right, so tank is almost full, but I'm reopening it. And we're gonna see residual come out of there. But you're gonna do this a couple more times until it comes out clear. And right now I don't see nothing but just a little mucky water coming out, which is a good sign. So anyway, while you're flushing your tanks, there's no big rush. It's okay to take a little time and let them flush and drain good, especially at the end of the season. So we're lucky we're on a seasonal site with full hookups, so we don't have to trailer it to a certain specific park or try and do this at a dump station. That's kind of a pain. So we're gonna flush them good, and then we're gonna get on to draining the hot water tank. All right, so he just gave me the thumbs up. We're opening the black tank for the last time, and we're gonna watch, make sure nothing big comes out. If you see anything big in there, you might want to do it one more time. I'm seeing pretty clear water right now, so that looks good. And then we'll go on to the next step, which is going to be, we're going to run this for about 5 or 10 minutes with it open and the water running. Then we're going to shut the water off, let it drain completely, and then we're going to open the gray tanks. All right, so that tank is pretty good. It's completely emptied. We're just going to run it for about 10 minutes. Okay, so we're going to disconnect the I disconnected the hose, shut it off at the water source while the black tank is still flushing, and we're going to go ahead and disconnect this water filter and then separate that from the water, the fresh water hose, the blue hose. And I bought that specific for fresh water, and that's the only thing we're going to use it for. And this filter will be discarded for this year, and we'll use a new one next year. All right, so I'm not going to put this cap in where we just took the hose out, because we have to remove this during the winterize process. So that's going to stay right there for now. And then we opened up our shower, and it's hanging here. We're going to run antifreeze through this shortly. All right, so Jake's disconnecting the black flush tank hose from the camper. And we're gonna disconnect from the water source, but we're gonna kill our water source here. So that is now off. We're gonna remove our components, Try not to get wet. All right, here you go. Take this end, do the same thing you did with the blue hose. He's gonna bring that over to the picnic table. And now I might need 2 hands for this. Yep. All right, hold on. All right, so this little black regulator needs to stay on there. And always remember your pieces. And I notice I got a gasket on here that needs to go in the hose, but I keep spares of them just in case. All right, so black tank is completely flushed. We're gonna close this and we're gonna open one of the gray tanks. There's gray tank 1 and 2. 2 separate ones. So that's one. It's just gonna be soapy water. And I should be able to do 2 at once. So that one obviously has more water pressure. One was more full than the other one. Nice. So we'll let this drain until it's completely empty. All right, so while that's draining, we're gonna go ahead and remove our cable for the TV. So we have this box here. Let me see if I remember how this opens up. I might need, oh, here we go. There we go. Okay. Trying to do this one-handed. So this is our cable line right here. Don't mind the spiders. Hopefully there's no black widows in there. But I'm just going to disconnect this. Because I don't want somebody accidentally coming through here in the winter time and ripping my line out. So John, we're in this bottom port right here in the back, okay?
Bottom.
There's just a little button on the back here to press. All right. Oh yeah. Disconnect the line from the hut there. All right, so this is the back of the water heater, which we did not run today, so it's nice and cool. Well, this just has a removable panel, different from my last camper. So now we need to take, this out, which is your, what do you call it? It's the rod. There's a word for it, and I'm drawing a blank at the moment, but I'll post it up. But anyway, it's like a aluminum rod, and it corrodes as the contaminants in the water attack it, and you got to change that like on a yearly basis is a good idea. Okay. All right, so we ended up getting lucky. This is not your proper way to do things, but I was able to break it loose with this adjustable. Normally I use a socket, but I do not have the right size socket with me, so we're gonna make a note of that, put that on our to-do list. So what I did was I was able to break it loose with this adjustable. Poor man's wrench here. And I'm using a little leverage here just to loosen it. So now, water's gonna come shooting out of here, so step back with the camera. We're gonna open this. Of course, this is right near this thing here. I don't like that. This is a pressure relief. And of course, that won't open all the way. All right, watch out. We're gonna pull this right out. Hopefully none of it's soaked. And that's your anodizing rod is what it is. Anode. Jake, can you go get some paper towels? There's some in that drawer where this lets air in. Normally I don't have to stand there and hold it. All right, so now we're gonna disconnect from shore power. right, so this is our water pump and it's beneath the sink. And we already have, this is a great feature. So this is already connected to the water pump, this hose. So this hose is gonna go directly into one of the gallons. Excuse my filming, I forgot my tripod and all that. But this is gonna go right into one of these gallons, okay? So now, we're gonna keep these close. And it wouldn't hurt to have some paper towels ready. All right, Jay, can you film in there for a second? All right, so inside here is a valve right here. So we need to turn this. So that valve comes from the city water. So now, when we turn on the water pump, go ahead, turn it on now, and that's gonna suck up almost this whole gallon, if not more. So now we're drawing antifreeze into the system. Okay, so that's stopped on its own. Yeah, shut it off for a hot second. So what I'm gonna do is just switch tanks real fast, so I know I got plenty. Okay, I'll take over the camera. So now, yeah, you could turn that pump on. Okay, so that'll run when it senses when it needs suction. So go outside and you're gonna open up the hot water valve on the shower until you see pink fluid coming out steady. Okay?
The shower?
So right now he's drawn, he just had the outside shower running on the hot side to draw RV antifreeze into the system. Okay, so I'm gonna just flush this toilet until pink comes out. We got good pink, and you could leave it like that. And we're gonna run the hot side. Here, let me turn on the light. We're gonna run the hot side of the sink until you see pink, good pink. Okay. All right, so I just did the hot water on the shower. I neglected to film it, but that's okay, you get the gist. And here is the hot on the main sink. All right, we got good pink. So what I'm gonna do here now is I'm gonna make sure that we have a full gallon here. So I'm gonna pour the contents of this into the contents of that, so it's not wasteful. All right, so I neglected to film the hot side here, which I'll just do again real fast. All right, so pink coming out on the hot. Now we're doing the cold side, and we got pink coming out. Perfect. All right, we already did the toilet, so now we're gonna do the cold side in here. And that's the water pump you hear. So we got plenty of cold water. I'm just gonna dab the hot side again just to make sure. And just keep in mind that we already closed all the low point drains for the main system. So now we're gonna do the cold side in the main sink. All right, we got plenty of antifreeze coming out. So now what we're gonna do with the residual is we're gonna pour that into the traps of the two sinks. If we need to, we could pour a little bit more in the toilet, not a big deal. And then we got to go outside and do one more thing. But actually, before we pour this in the traps, we got to go outside and do two more things. Stand by. Okay, so here we need to take out this little piece here. Comes right out. John, grab that. Should come right out. Just put it on the bumper on a clean spot. Okay. So all I'm going to do is depress this little button inside here, this little white button, and you have a little residual water pop out. And watch you don't get sprayed. You know what? Shut the water pump off first. Might be too much pressure still in there. All right, so we shut the water pump off. I'm pretty sure there's too much pressure, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. Ooh, that's tough. Oh, there it goes. All right, hit that pump one more time because there's still more water in here.
You want me to turn it on and off?
No, I'll yell if I need it off.
Okay.
So that's spring loaded. Okay, so hopefully, I want to make sure that's antifreeze. There we go. That's antifreeze coming out right there. That's pink. Okay, that's it for that. Put it back together. So we're going to put our little screen back in here and our cap. That's it for that. All right, so I'm using this box. We're putting this gallon of antifreeze right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to be pumping some antifreeze into the black tank flush, because there is some water, residual water in there. And all we're going to do is push that with antifreeze down into the toilet, which has some antifreeze in the black tank. All right, so John's going to go ahead and pump this, and it pumps on both strokes. Oh, hold it. Okay. And really all you need to do is a couple pumps, because right inside, right here, is where the vent is.
Am I still going?
Yeah, go ahead, give it just two. We got plenty of antifreeze, so. Yeah, well, that'll be good right there. So now we are 100% winterized. So now, since this is a double sink, I just slid over the cutting board to cover here, and we're going to pour some of this residual down into the trap. You don't even have to do that much. Then we'll do some more on this side. Not that enough didn't go in there, but why not? And believe it or not, this camper used less antifreeze than my other camper, which is pretty good. So we're all winterized, got the cover on. We did not film this just because we needed all hands on deck. There was 4 of us working on it, and I forgot my tripod, so you'll have to look at one of my other videos on putting a cover on it. Basically is the same thing, just a little bit longer, but it worked out well. Packing up for the year. All right, that's a wrap. Until next year. Everything's on, sealed up, winterized, put away. We're good.